Susanne Sundfør is a Norwegian singer-songwriter who in 2015 made an album that very much, with its very heartbroken, dark sort of ethos, kind of combined a mixture of chamber pop with strings and luscious instruments, some orchestral instrumentation there, but also a lot of synth pop, and I thought that the combination of these resulted in a very good album that I really liked, and was probably one of my top favorites for that year. However, this new album, Music for People in Trouble, is a lot more stripped down and simple and very back to basics. There are certainly some subtle musical intricacies like some drones or some backing vocals or some ambient kind of reverb-soaked sounds occasionally. Also some very experimental moments like spoken word and jazz and some field recordings as well. However, overall this isn't that hard to get into. I would say that is actually very easy to kind of see the emotional potency of the album, the songwriting and the beautiful melodies on this album, be it on the piano or the acoustic guitar, as well as Sundfør's amazing, passionate, powerful singing voice. She is an amazing singer. Listen to a song like Undercover, where all the pain and the anguish in her voice is just being bellowed out. I also kind of like her lyric writing. I wouldn't say conceptually this album isn't, too out of the blue when it comes to kind of breakup or love songs, but the writing is definitely heart-wrenching. It takes these typical aftermath of a breakup scenarios, but the way she uses images and symbolism and very simple dialogue to kind of portray these moments, these scenes, is actually quite effective, especially when she tries to find some sort of light or optimism in a situation that seems completely devoid of it. Combine that with some of the despondent piano melodies on tracks like Good Luck, Bad Luck, the kind of nonchalant, depressive vocal delivery on the track No One Believes in Love Anymore, that sounds like she's almost at the stage of acceptance. She can't really deny it or fix it anymore. She has no choice but to move on. And this also kind of culminates in the final climax of the album, Mountaineers, featuring John Grant, a track which is very subtle and underplayed during its first half, but definitely grows towards this incredibly lush second half that was very beautiful and a very powerful moment to end off the album with, both sonically and lyrically. I thought that the track before it, The Golden Age, with those little synth embellishments, I thought that synth work was really creative, just those little pops of electronic sounds just in the mix. I thought that was a really good way to add to the colour of the record, whereas the previous songs kind of purposefully didn't have that much colour. I like to imagine this album starting off with a bit of a grayscale colour scheme, black and white, greys, just kind of a bit depressive, but as it moves on, there is kind of this sense of acceptance and kind of determination to move on and find the light and the optimism in the situation, and the colour starts to come back in up until that very last moment on Mountaineers. I love the artfulness of Susanne Sundfør, even if the emotions behind this album will be extremely real and heartbreaking and extremely personal to her. I think the way she manages to translate them into musical form, the ability to make the listener feel what she's feeling, is incredibly admirable, and I respect that a lot. I definitely loved this album. Anyone in the mood for a very emotionally potent singer-songwriter record that's very stripped down and intimate should check this out. I think it is definitely a highlight for this year. Another highlight. I've been giving out a lot of high scores recently, but I'm not going to let that stop me from giving this an 8 out of 10, am I?